Hey friends, my name is Gabrielle and welcome to FrumiousReads, and to celebrate the end of the year, which is coming up on us way too quickly, I'm going to go through the top 5 books that I read in 2018. Alright, so starting with the 5th best book that I read this week, we are going to jump into the true crime genre with Catch Me If You Can by Frank Abagnale. This was my first book jump back into true crime in a long time, and it was one of my first books that I ever read that didn't have to do with like true crime in the terms of like serial killers and murders. So this one was one that I really enjoyed because it was just such a fun read. It's about Frank Abagnale's journey. He posed as a Pan Am pilot for a ridiculous amount of time and basically was also a lawyer. He was also a doctor, and it was absolutely insane, the things that this guy got away with. And it was really fun to read his book because it's a true crime book from a convicted con man. So it was really interesting overall. I was very happy while I was reading it. So this was the number 5 best book that I read this year. And if you haven't read it and want to know more, I will link you in the description down below or in the cards up there to my overall review of it. 4th best book that I read this year was Broken Things by Lauren Oliver. I read it in advanced reader's edition and that I got at Booknet Fest, which was really awesome. And this book is amazing. It is about these group of girls who are suspected of killing a friend of theirs because all of these girls were obsessed with this this book called The Way into Lovelorn. The murder that happened was something that was based on the book series. So they're all kind of like these girls who come back together after a really long time apart and kind of start thinking about like, well, really, who did murder our friend, because it wasn't any of us. And so it's a really great book. I definitely recommend it. It had a bunch of twists and turns that I was not expecting, and it had them in a way, which this is a problem I find in a lot of like murder mystery novels. It wasn't like exhausting to constantly go through those twists and turns. Overall, it was really fun to go through them because you were like, you always wanted to know what happened next. So if you guys like murder mysteries, or if you just like YA mystery or YA in general, then I definitely recommend you guys try and read this one. It is really good and really fun. Book number 3 that I read in 2018 was The Fairy Tales from the Brothers Grimm by Philip Pullman. This is an anthology of Philip Pullman's favorite Brothers Grimm fairy tales, where and some of them are very popular ones and some of them are ones that are not very popular at all, that he goes through and like finds the original storytelling for and then writes it in like a modern translation. And then he goes through and analyzes each story with some of the themes. And so I just thought this was really fun. I love Philip Pullman. He's one of my favorite authors. So I was excited to read something that was beyond the His Dark Materials series and was actually kind of set in this whole other fantasy realm in general. I actually read a lot of really interesting Brothers Grimm fairy tales that I've never heard of before, and I really enjoyed them. They were fantastic. Book number 2 of 2018 was The Girl in the Tower by Catherine Arden. I was so excited to read this book because I went for so long without reading The Bear and the Nightingale because I had borrowed it, I had let a friend borrow my copy, and I didn't get it back for forever. So thank you for finally giving it back, because I was finally able to read the first book in the series, and it was so good. And so I was really excited because by the time I had read the first book, the second book had come out. And so this book is amazing. I love the storytelling and like just kind of the fantasy world building that happens in the story, and I just love the continuation and finding new things about the lore, and just it's a beautiful modern fairy tale, and I absolutely loved it. I cannot get enough of this book, and the cover itself is so gorgeous. I just love having the big hardback version because the cover is beautiful. And finally, my number 1 book of 2018, which was the finale to a series that I fell in love with on my first beginning start of BookTube. That would have to be Obsidio, Book 3 of the Illuminae Files by Jay, Kristoff, and Amy Kaufman. Oh my god, the conclusion to this book series. Let me tell you, this book series was very like close to me because not only did I first read the first book when I started BookTube and started posting videos, but I fell in love with it so much because of the intricate storytelling and the way that it was so different from any book I've ever read. And so just getting the 3rd and final book in the series and having all the characters that we've been introduced to finally meet and finally kind of wrap up each of their personal stories and have like a concrete ending. It was great, and honestly I know that there was a lot of people who were kind of disappointed in this book. For me, I absolutely loved it, and even though I did see what they were talking about, I did also have some issues with this book. This remains one of my favorite books that I've read of the year, just because the conclusion was so satisfying and it's the finale of a book series that I have been in love with for years now. So this is definitely going to be my #1 favorite book of 2018. Cannot get enough of it. Absolutely love all the books in the series and am very satisfied with how the whole series ended. All right, so those are my top 5 books of 2018. I would love to know what your top 5 books are in the comments down below. So go ahead and list them for me and I'll go through and see if I've read any of them or if I need to add any of them to my ever-growing TBR list because that is always growing. I would love to hear from you guys, so let me know what you thought of this video, of my top 5 picks, if you have any suggestions for other books that I should read that are similar, or just what are your favorite top 5 books that you read this past year. I would love to know. But that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys had a happy holidays and Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to all of you guys, because this will probably be my last video until after the new year, and I cannot wait to see what this new 2019 brings. Hopefully a lot of great things. I'm really hoping for that. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, then make sure you subscribe to my channel. I upload bookish videos twice a week, as well as reaction videos whenever something cool comes out that I want to react to. I also am starting a Harry Potter podcast with Christian, who is oftentimes featured on my channel. It is called Cunning and Loyalty, where I, as Slytherin, make him, the Hufflepuff, read through the Harry Potter series for the first time. I will leave it in the description down below, and you guys can check it out if you want. We have 2 episodes that are going to be up, and our 3rd one will be coming out in 2019 at the end of the week, since we're taking Monday and Tuesday off for the holidays. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. That is all I have for you guys today, and I will talk to you later. Okay, bye.